Hello, everyone. So, today we are going to be learning some Chinese together. I know before this we have done a Irish language lesson. This time we will be focusing on Chinese. So, this is my old Chinese textbook. I got this book, wow, maybe 4 or 5 years ago now. I got this in my first year of university when I started learning Mandarin Chinese, and this was the textbook that my language institute learned from. I know nowadays my language institute uses different books to teach the language, but I still really actually liked this book, and I think it is better in many ways than their current version. So why not have a look at it again and help some people who might be interested in learning Mandarin? So I'm not sure how many books there are exactly in this series, but I used 4 of them before graduating. So there are at least 4, but I'm pretty sure there are more than that. Maybe 5 or 6. Could be even more. But yeah, this is simplified Chinese. So the Chinese that is used in mainland China. I should say the characters that are used in mainland China. In Taiwan, basically 95% of the same words are used. So all the words you use in this can also be spoken and understood in Taiwan. It's just the characters are traditional in Taiwan. So a lot of them will be slightly different. Okay, so let us open up this new practical Chinese reader and have a look. So this is annotated in English. It is made by the Beijing Language and Culture University Press. As you can see, it's quite old. It's scuffed from years of carrying it around in a backpack. It is the 2nd edition of this book. Here, 2nd edition. First book in the series. And it has won awards and is part of the Hanban Institute, I suppose you would say. So here we've just got the opening pages. People who have contributed towards writing this book. We have a content page, all the different chapters you might find in this book. So there are 14 chapters, with the last one being a review chapter. So today we are going to look at chapter 1. How do you do? So we're learning saying hello, greetings, and we're going to learn, I'm personally going to focus on the tones, a few characters, and yes, these greetings and hello. So we've got lots of pages here. sorry if I get disturbed in the process of filming this video. I'm currently babysitting a bunch of animals for family who are on holiday, so they need constant care. But and if you hear background noises of scratching or walking on little feet, that is the cats and dog. Okay. This book is made with the dialogue of a group of characters. So we have many different characters here that you will meet throughout the book, and I will introduce you to each of these characters as we encounter them. Sorry for background noises. I live in the countryside at the moment, so there are lots of tractors and big trucks that make a lot of noise. Hope it's not too bad. Okay, now let's look at lesson 1. As we said, it's about how do you do, and this lesson begins by introducing some sounds unique to the Chinese language. So sounds, maybe the tones. If you don't know, Chinese is a tonal language. Yes, so Chinese has 4 distinct tones. Chinese has 4 distinct tones, and we will look at each of those tones. Now I suppose we can get straight into them. So let's look here. We have some colored paper we can use to write on. Let's take this lovely pink one out. It blends in with our reddish pink page here. So we can use this to write down some of the tones we will encounter today. Okay, let me write a bunch of A's. We will use an A letter to demonstrate the tones, the 4 tones. The first one, the first tone, we'll demonstrate it by a straight line, and that is because it is a flat tone. Sometimes people describe it as like singing. Flat singing doesn't undulate. It doesn't go up, it doesn't go down. So it's kind of like just straight across. So I'm going to show you a word that uses the first tone. This word is cafe. So both of these are first tone. Cafe, cafe, and that means coffee. The drink, coffee. So it sounds similar. Cafe, coffee. So it doesn't go up, doesn't go down. It's just straight, melodic across. Cafe. And I might be, I definitely am, overemphasizing these tones just to help you clearly hear them. Obviously, when you're speaking a full-on conversation, you don't have time to slowly and clearly pronounce every single tone. So in a full-on conversation, they will blend together a bit more. They won't be as intense, but this is generally how they should be said. Cafe. Okay, then the second tone is down. It's the falling tone. So first one, ah. Second one is ah, ah, falling. It's kind of like if you maybe stub your toe on the door and you go ah, is, harsh and quick, very quick. Down. Ah. So we're going to write a word that uses the second tone. Yao. Put the tone on the A. Yao. Yao. Just downward. Just a downward tone. Yao. So short and quick. Yao means want. Want. Yao. Yao. Cafe. Then we have the third tone, which is falling and rising. Falling and rising. So I've heard that nowadays this tone is actually taught in quite a different way than it was to me. But how I learned it was that you begin a second tone, you begin a fall, and then you begin to rise. So you go ah, but then you begin to rise. Ah, ah. So it's whereas the first tone is quite light and forward in your throat. The third tone is the opposite. It is quite long and it's at the back of your throat. So you have to go deep to say it. Kind of like, a pain in your stomach. So a word that uses it is this one. Wo, which means I. Wo. So it's not wo, it's not wo. It's wo. So we can say wo yao cafe. I want coffee. Wo yao cafe. And then the last tone, the fourth tone, is rising tone. Rising. Second, falling. Fourth, rising. So, ah. So you raise up your voice. It's kind of like when you're asking a question sentence, you raise your tone at the end of it to show it's a question. So it's the same here. You just rise your tone of voice. And when we think of a word we can use the rising tone with. M-A-N-G. Rising tone. Mong. Which means busy. Mong. So, cafe, first tone. Yao, second tone. Wo, third tone. Mong, second tone. So keep those tones in mind when you're speaking Chinese. Obviously, they don't need to be perfect as a new speaker, but do try and keep them in mind from the beginning, because if you don't do that from the very beginning, then it will be hard to do it later on. Well, there are only 4 tones officially. There is actually a secret 5th tone, I guess, which is kind of the neutral tone. It's the absence of a tone, and certain words will have this. I think the 2 most common circumstances is sometimes when you have like 2 words together, like double. This word here is ye, which means grandfather. So it's rising tone, ye. yeah. But the second part of it is neutral. Yeah. So you rise on this one, yeah. But second one, don't do any tone. Rise, no tone. Yeah. Okay. And another circumstance we use the neutral is often with question particles. So particles. To make a sentence a question in Chinese, you can add ma. To make a sentence a question in Chinese, you can add ma. There's no tone on it, it's just ma. Nice and quick at the end of a sentence. So here, 我要咖啡 is a sentence. I want coffee. But if we add ma at the end, 我要咖啡 ma, it means do I want coffee? So you're changing it to a question by adding ma at the end. So question particles or particles in general will not have tones. They will be neutral. Okay, so let us actually begin learning some of the phrases that are in this lesson here. The first one is a conversation between this man here, Lu Yuping. So let's find Lu Yuping. And here he is. Lu Yuping is a Chinese reporter aged 26 and he is male. So he's from China, he works as a reporter and he's 26. His name is Lu Yuping. So we're not going to focus too much on names right now. You can listen to the names and get accustomed to the tones and pronunciation. But we're going to focus on actual phrases more so than names and meanings behind names. You will learn the meaning of the different characters just by learning phrases and words. And then we have another name here, Li Bo, falling tone and first tone, Li Bo. Let's see who Li Bo is. Li Bo, where's Li Bo? Oh, here he is. Li Bo has a surname, Ding Li Bo. So here he is, his full glory. A Canadian student, aged 21, male. His father is Gu Bo and his mother is Ding Yun. So, Ding Li Bo, here he is, he's from Canada, and he's speaking with our man, Lu Yuping, the reporter. Lu Yuping and Li Bo. So it says Ding Li Bo here. Ding is the surname, so we can remove the surname and just say Li Bo because that's his given name. More often than not, if you're not extremely good friends with someone, you will just say their full name. But if you're good friends with someone or see them on a very frequent basis, maybe you work together and you're of a similar age, then maybe you can get rid of their surname and call them Li Bo or add a nickname in. But otherwise you will use people's full names. So here we can assume that Lu Yuping is Li Bo's friend because he's just calling him by Li Bo. And also, Li Bo is a foreigner. So maybe Li Bo is from his English name. So it's normal, or it's more normal to remove the surname part of it. So we have the conversation. This is Lu Yuping speaking, and he is saying, Li Bo. He says, Li Bo, 你好. So 你好 is our first important phrase. We can look at it here. It's N I, third tone, 你, H A O, third tone. You put the tone on the first vowel in the word. So 你好,你好. 你 means you, 你. And 好 means good or well, 你好. So it's like you are good or well, and this translates to hello, hello. 你好 is hello. So it's kind of like in maybe Old English, instead of saying hello, people would say good day to you. It's kind of like that. You're saying 你好, you are well, wishing well on someone. So we've got Lü Yuping saying 你好 to Li Bo, saying hello to Li Bo. And Li Bo says back to Lü Yuping, 你好, Lü Yuping. So they're just saying hello, hello, 你好, 你好. Pretty straightforward. So let's revise. How do we say you in Chinese? Yes, of course. 你. What tone is that? Is it the first tone, the second tone, the third tone, or the fourth tone? 你. Of course, it is the third tone. Good job. 你. And then, how do we say well or good? Say it again. Yes. 好. And what tone is that? Yes. Third tone. They are both third tone. 你好. And what does it mean together? 你好. Hello, of course. 你好. So from now on, if we have Chinese lessons, we can start off by saying 你好 to each other. Okay? Very good. And let us move on to the next page. Very important. I'll test you in the next lesson. Let's look back here. Next page. We have a new character. Lina. Let's see who Lina is. Here we have Lina. She is a British student aged 19, female. She's from Great Britain. She is talking to Li Bo, the Canadian. So what is Li Bo saying to Lina? He says, Lina, 你好吗? Okay, this is a good one. So do we remember what 你 means? Who remembers? 你? Yes, it means you. 你 is you. And how? What does how mean? How? Of course, it means good or well. And 你好 means hello. But we have a different word at the end. What happens when you add this word at the end? Who remembers what I said about the word that doesn't have a tone? There's no tone symbol over it. Remember the neutral tone? What particle can we add it over? ma. And when do we use ma? There's a question mark here. Yes, to make it a question. So if we're saying you well and question, it means are you well? How are you? 你好吗?你好吗? How are you? So Li Bo is asking Li Na, how are you? 你好吗? Okay. Very good. And Lina responds with 我很好. Who remembers this one? 我. Who wants top marks? I. 我. So third tone. 我. And who remembers what you is? Yes. 你. 我. 你. 我. 你. Okay? So here, this is about her. She's saying I. 我. 很. We haven't looked at this one before. H-E-N. 很. This one means very or really. So I am really or I am very. 很. And what does 好 mean? Who remembers? 好. Yes. Good. So I am very good. 我很好. It might seem a bit, dramatic saying, I'm very good, I'm really good. But in Chinese, we wouldn't really say 我好. You generally add in an adjective in the middle, like 我很好. I'm very good. Even if you're just okay. Even if you're just, doing pretty good, you can say 我很好. It's okay. And they're all third tone. So we got 3 third tones in a row. And then she goes on. 你. What does 你 mean? 你. Yes, you. And then 呢. 你呢. It's a question. But there's no tone. So what can it mean? Ma. Remember ma was like how or do. How are you? Or here. 我要咖啡. Ma can be do you want coffee? So ma can be do or how. What about ne? It's a question, but it's not do or how. 你呢? Well, she just said, I'm very good. So what could this be? Yes, it means and. Or how about? How about you? What about you? And yourself? 你呢? I'm good. How about you? Are you good? So it's kind of a reverse, a bit of an Uno reverse card. You asked me this question, now I'm going to throw it back on you. 你呢? Instead of, having to repeat the whole question, you can just say, you can shorten it down to 你呢? No tone required for the ne. And then Li Bo answers 也很好. So we learned 很. We learned 很 before. Right here. I'm very good. So very good. 很好. So what can 也 be? It it means also or too. I am also very good. And here you can omit the pronoun. He doesn't have to say I'm also very good. We don't have any 我也很好. It's okay if you want to. You can say that. You can say 我也很好. But you can shorten it down and omit the 我. You don't have to add it in because Lina and Libo both know who he's referring to. So it's not necessary to put it in. Okay, so that is the first lesson. Very easy, very straightforward. And I would like to look at one or two characters for us to learn for today's lesson. So we learned 你好, so we might as well learn the character for 你好. So the first one is, so characters are made up of blocks. We have two blocks here. We have a block for 你 and a block for 好. And usually a block is made up of one or two characters combined together to make a word. So 你, the first character is this, 你. So you draw a line down that way and a line down this way. And this character comes from another character, this one, called 人. 人, which means person. This means a person. So here, this is a form of this character. So we know that this character block is going to have something to do with a human. It's going to have something to do with a person. And then the next part of it is line down, line across and down. Forgive me if my character order is wrong. Okay. So line down. I don't remember if these come first or this one, but oh well. This down and 2 dots at the edge. 你. So by this part here, the 人 particle, we know that it's about a person. And of course, it means you. You are a human being. So 你 is you. So let's remember, line down. There we go. 你. And then 好, well or good, is made up of two characters to make a block as well. First one is this, it's like a little bracket and another little bracket put together. This one here means woman. Woman. So remember that. This and this, two little brackets together. But that's not all. We have another part to it. There we go. This one means son. Son, like the child, your son. Right here. And a line through it. Son. So woman and son. Why does woman and son together mean well or good? Well, a lot of these character meanings are based on very old traditional stories or values. So in traditional China, to have a woman and to have a son was very fortuitous. It was a very good thing to have. It made a family complete. And that is why these two characters together form 好 to mean well or good. And then when you say 你 and 好 together, it's hello. 你好. And I think we can leave the characters at this for today. So try and remember these characters. 你好. And the words 你 means you, 好 means well. Together, 你好 is hello. Then, if we add ma to the end, it makes it a question. 你好吗? How are you? 我 is I. 你 you. 我 I. 很 very. 好 good. I'm very good. 你 you. 呢 remember the Una reverse question? How about you? 你呢? And the last word we need to know, 也 also. I'm also good. 也很好. Okay, so that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. We will quickly revise these if we do this lesson again. And then we can look at lesson 2. Quick peek. Are you busy? Remember we learned忙as the rising tone. 忙, busy. Are you busy? So that's for next time. But until then, goodbye. See you then. And I hope you enjoyed learning Chinese with me.